Hey, so today's video, we're going to do something different. We're going to go through 10 things we wish we would have known before we started training. So, okay, what's up everyone? Today's video, me and Dean, we're going to talk about 10 things we wish we would have known before we started our bodybuilding journey. So I'll give 5 and Dean will give his top 5 and we will let you know. So also drop a comment in the box below, let me know what yours were. Okay, so I will go first. Things I wish I would have known is I didn't realise how long it actually takes to build a physique. Now if you were to go to someone nowadays and says it'll probably take you 10-15 years before you get sort of British level physique, you probably wouldn't invest that kind of time. But if you want, obviously people now they're chasing, they want instant results. They see someone on Instagram, they would look like that in 6 weeks time. So I wish I would have thought back then, probably take me 6 to 8 weeks to get like a physique like Dean's. So that is one of the things I've learned. It takes many years to build a championship physique. Okay, so Dean, give me what you wish you would have known before you start training.
Recently, I got my genetics tested from Transform Now. Amazing little app, and kind of found out on there that my genetics were pretty average across the board. I had some very bad factors, some average, and some excellent. For me to build muscle is very average, if not hard. So a lot of people say, oh, you're just genetically gifted. I've had to work hard for this, and my genetics for weight to strength to weight ratio was through the roof. So my strength, my stamina muscle was excellent, but to build muscle was very poor. So I wish I would have known that at the very start of my career. I wouldn't have done bodybuilding. I would have probably done powerlifting or some form of fighting, and that's where I would have done a lot better in. But it goes to show, if you want something bad enough, you can get good at it, but to be the best in the world, you need to know your genetics. So I wish I would have knew how my genetics were before I started bodybuilding.
Okay, so another thing I wish I would have learned at an early age was to sort of use correct form when training. Back then we didn't have YouTube videos like people have nowadays. All we had was like books with the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia, so we couldn't really know what good form was. But so training was quite sloppy back then. You sort of copy someone else in the gym who also had bad form and you didn't know any better. So I wish I would have studied more how to do correct form, isolating the muscles I was supposed to train rather than just swinging the weights around. And after that I did tear my pec minor from doing like sloppy forms on flies, so it does pay to at an early age correct the form. That way when you train later on in life you keep that form and stress the muscle rather than ancillary muscles. So that is correct form at an early age.
Number 3, what I wish I would have known when I first started is how much rest and recovery that your body needs to actually grow. It's a big mistake I made myself, and many people do make, is we just want to train. You think more is better. When I first started, I was probably in the gym every single day because I loved it that much. And I was progressing because I just started and I was young, my body was growing. But as you get older, that growth slows right down. I had to cut my days down. It took me a long time to learn that. But if I'd have known from the start to have at least 2 rest days a week, sometimes 3 if you need it, I would have grown a lot faster, and I wish I would have known that at the start.
So this is the 4th thing I wish I would have known when I first started training. I started training at an early age, and back then we had Flex Magazine, Muscle and Fitness, Iron Man, and I used to go to the newsagents and read my favourite articles of Richard Gaspari, Lee Haney. The next day I would go to the gym and do the exact same routine, 35-40 sets. And as a beginner, obviously you don't need so much stimulus. You will grow with very minimal exercises, minimal sets. So copying someone like Lee Haney, who's 8-time Mr Olympia, is probably a bit sort of, I would say a mistake, but it wasn't very good because obviously you can't progress from that because he's already training at such a high level. So I will always start training at a basic level before you start copying other people's routines.
5?
Yeah.
What I wish I'd have known when I first started training. I was kind of pushed into competing. What I wish I'd have known is how much sacrifice it really takes to be a competitive bodybuilder and look the best you can possibly be. When I jumped in it was a big shock at how hard the diet was, can't sustain relationships, the amount of money that it costs, physically and mentally draining it was to do a 14 to 12 week diet and not cheat once. It's probably one of the hardest things you'll ever do if you get into that amazing condition. So what I wish I would have known is how hard and how much sacrifice it takes to be a bodybuilder.
Okay, so another thing I wish I would have known when I first started training is back then when we used to buy magazines. Yes, there used to be magazines. They used to be sponsored heavily by like Weeder, Cybergenics, Tropicana, and they would sort of, the way they market the supplements was it was better than food. You had to take these supplements, and I wish I would have known back then it was more down to your diet, your nutrition, the food, the real foods that you eat, rather than taking loads of vitamins, amino acids. Obviously, they have their time and place, and when you are lacking in certain vitamins, minerals, it is good to supplement them. But I spent too much time, too much money buying weight gainers, mass gainers, all these magic testosterone boosters, which really didn't really equate to anything. So if I would have spent more time getting the right diet, right protein, right carbs, right good fats, I probably would have progressed a lot further in my bodybuilding career.
One more thing that I wish I'd have known when I first started training is how unhealthy bodybuilding is. I was very lucky that I had people around me that taught me the right way, eating lots of vegetables, eating very healthy foods. The drug side of things, I was always taking very minimum amounts. If I didn't have that guidance, I would not have had a clue myself. As I got older and wiser, I realised how unhealthy bodybuilding can be. When you're pushing things to the extreme and the gear stacks go up, it will have a massive effect on your health. So I wish I would have researched a lot more before I got into competitive bodybuilding about the impact that all the drugs, the harsh dieting and all the strain you put on your body, how it impacts your health.
Okay, so another thing I wish I would have known when I first started training, although I did have a good idea at the time, is to stick with the basic compound movements, things like your shoulder presses, your deadlifts, squats, all the exercises that challenge the whole body, and rather than using too many isolation movements like cables, concentration kills. It's great when you look at magazines and you see people doing like these like weird, really isolated exercises, but to build overall mass, especially at an early age, the best using the heavier compound exercises. Stay away from all the fancy stuff at the beginning. Just stick with and perfect the heavier compound movements. That's one thing. Also, them exercises like squats, bench, deadlifts, they're the ones that really tax your body. They're the hard exercises. I mean, anyone can sit on a leg extension and bang out 3 to 5 sets of 20 reps, but you get under 400 pounds on your back, there's a difference. So they're the ones that are going to challenge your body and make your body grow.
What I wish I would have known when I first started training, know what you want to do, because when I first started training I was heavily into martial arts. Before that I was a runner, and then I got into bodybuilding, and then I was torn, what do I want to do? Do I want to go martial arts? Do I want to go bodybuilding? All the fitness I needed to do for the martial arts really affected me putting weight on. When I did put weight on, it really affected my fitness levels in martial arts. I had to choose one. I dragged it on far too long, doing a bit of both at the same time, and I was okay at them both, but I wasn't great at any while doing both. So I had to make a choice in the end, and I chose bodybuilding. What I wish I would have known back then is exactly what I wanted to do in life, and I was just in a place where I just wanted to throw myself into everything and see where life took me. But the advice I could give would be to know exactly what you want to do and pursue it.
Okay, so another thing I wish I would have known when I first started training is intensity. As we all know, it takes a certain level of intensity to build new muscle, and if you're sort of coasting along, if your workouts are sort of the same week in, week out, you're not getting stronger, you're not doing more reps, then your body will adapt very quickly. So intensity, that's basically putting pressure onto the muscles causing a stimulus to make it grow, to adapt. Once you sort of keep chasing the numbers, you've got to give your body a reason to grow. So that's where intensity happens. You can either use more weight, more reps, doing drop sets. There's loads of different intensity techniques you can use to make your body grow. So that's one thing I wish I would have known.
One more thing that I wish I would have known when I first started training, and that would be how to grow a chest. When I was young, I was all about lifting as heavy as I possibly could, and that was great in the compound movements. I used to squat heavy, deadlift heavy, and that got me growing quick at a young age. Really built my strength up. I used to do a lot of heavy benching as well. I wish I would have known how to bench properly. I used to just move a weight from A to B and max the bar out as much as I could. And with my genetics, my physique, all that happened is my shoulders grew huge and my chest didn't really respond at all. So after years and years of figuring this out, I really had to isolate my chest and change my training, bringing the weight load right down to hit my pecs. I'm not a power lifter. It doesn't matter what I lift in the gym. What matters is the muscles growing. So what I wish I'd known back then is how to train chest properly.
Okay, so let's wrap that up. So thanks for watching this video. So between me and Dean, we got over 50 years of training experience under our belts. That's 50 years, so there's nothing we don't really. We've seen it all, we've done it all. Dean's done 4 British Championships, I've done one, so that's 5 British Champions between us. So hope you take away a few of these tips from myself and Dean, and also drop a comment in the box below what your common mistakes were. But for now, like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.